spend a lot of time watching people walk by on the street to sort of assess how they've put that together and how they're wearing it, why they maybe made that choice that's not so smart, and or what made them choose something that looks really good. And I like to think back to that when I'm designing things and putting things together, because I run the costume department, which makes sure all the actors are clothed from head to toe in a manner befitting their character. So his suits are rather drab. The ties don't quite match with the suit. It doesn't quite match with the shirt, but close enough that in real life you'd never really notice. You'd be like, yeah, that's the way a guy dresses. That's how he goes to work. We don't like our characters to look perfect. Yeah, it's TV, but I don't want people who are flipping through the channel to go, oh my God, how fake is that? Nobody would ever wear that.
Sorry. I mean...
Our truck girl, otherwise known as a set costumer, she's in charge of making sure the lineup stays clean, the laundry is done, everything is in order.
This is what's called the lineup. That's what plays that day. Everything is tagged with a tag saying what episode, what scene, what day, what character, and what they wear for continuity purposes.
And if something changes, if an actor or actress decides to wear a different outfit, that continuity is written down in her book.
In this book specifically, I write down all the rental numbers, all the barcode numbers, just in case we need to get something back. We have some dies here, and we have things that you wouldn't think that wardrobe people would need. Files and sandpaper make it look maybe 20 years old.
Then we have our lovely assistant designer, Kia Porter, who is in charge of shopping for some of the day characters that we have.
Everything's worn most of the time, so you don't have to worry about breakdown. And the only time that you can't necessarily use cannel is when there's specific requests for items, or you need pieces for stunts and blood work and stuff. So they do have doubles and triples on a lot of stuff, but if you're planning on doing anything to it, you obviously need to go buy it. But it's a huge resource, huge, huge, huge.
Kia can read my mind, I can read hers. Audrey can read Daniel's, and vice versa.
Just gonna grab this rag.
A lot of times, if there are little itty-bitty things that need to be picked up, Kia is the one who gets stuck with that
I
job.
had a PO this morning, 0295. It's so funny because you run into so many people, behind the counter. They're like, oh, wow, it's so great. You get to shop for a living. And it's like, well, it's actually really hard.
Yeah, okay.
Asgard, do you want any sweat on their clothing or anything?
I think it would be a good idea. Not wearing wide now, but I think they've been doing it for a while. They've been skating for a while. Okay. If there's a bit on the arm maybe, or around the collar, the kind of usual places where people sweat when they've been at it for a while.
So when you last saw me, I was in our little truck room, which I refer to as the dungeon because it's so dark in there. But now I'm doing sets. I'm on set, taking care of actors.
The lead position on set is our on-set supervisor. They're in charge of keeping continuity. So if an actor is doing a scene and they say unzip themselves.
It's hard because it's red, but it definitely shows.
Awesome.
They have to make sure that in the next scene they show up in a jacket that's unzipped. Or if they've pushed up the sleeves have to stay up.
Stinky, sweaty rollerbladers.
A lot of actors will walk in for a fitting and will not be quite where their character is.
5-8 Echo, take 1.
And then they step into the clothes and this is the character.
Marking.
This is who I am.
The scene that I shot this afternoon, I've never rollerbladed before in my life, but it just added to the character.
The beauty of costumes is it can take the character to that very next level. In general, you just want them to look like normal, everyday people that belong there. All of it, the costumes, the character, the makeup, the hair. And it's one big symbiotic relationship. It's really nice when you don't necessarily notice the costumes. After fittings, we have digital photos printed out. And I'll do an episodic folder by day so that we know that the characters blend together, they work together, nobody's in the same color, nobody's gonna run into each other, and that it will all look really good on screen. Now it's after work for her, because she's running around and trying to order food, and so I've got her fairly casual.
It's good.
And then, of course, Jeff is in and out. That can be worn with a t-shirt or without. I've got it plotted without, but if you decide that he needs one, we can throw one on him.
No, he's pretty freewheeling. That's good.
Okay. So that's what they'll be wearing at dinner. She's really dark. Almost everything she has
I like it.
is...
Oh, great stuff.
It's lovely to work in film. It's lovely to do a job that you can be creative. I like the interaction with people. You meet a ton of people, and people are coming and going, and characters, especially with the actors, especially with the producers, you meet a lot of character people. The not so neat part about working in film, specifically costumes, is the hours. I've worked 7 days a week for 3 months straight. A short day is 12 and a half. An average day is probably 14 and a half hours. I've done 24-hour days. I've had absolutely no life. My parents don't remember who I am when I call them after I finish a show. You're just really tired and you're really burnt out and you just don't want to do it anymore. And then you're off for a week and you're like, okay, when's the next show? So it really depends on your energy level, where I'm at. But I always come back, even if I'm like, oh, okay, I'm so tired. I just need to take 2 months off. I need to go find myself another job. You really have to start off as a volunteer or do a lot of shows that don't pay a lot. A good place to start is always theater. Professional theater, local theater, helping out at amateur theater, all of that stuff will help set you in the right motions to getting into the costume department. Even if it's just the person who runs around backstage picking up the clothes as the actors toss them off in between changes. You'll understand some of the terminology that we use when we're referring to clothes. It all adds up and it all helps you move towards your goal. You have to be able to deal with the stuff like, we needed this 10 minutes ago, go get it right now. And be back here in 2 minutes and the mall is half an hour away.
It's always that one, pair of cords that you got for the fitting and they fit perfectly. Now you need 5 of them.
If you can't organize, then you have to find something else to do because that's what our job is about. If you just want to have a good time and you want it to be all glamorous, it's not very often at all. Okay.
Good. We'll see you around.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
And the rewards in the end are great.